I mean, there's trucks that go down this road and disappear, and then come back up this road. And put a whole canister out there. You know, I, oh, but they had oh, green. Boom, it's good. Oh, we got 8,000. comments for you.
It's,
And, we can see now.
oh, yes, okay,
Boy,
okay,
that's called. What's the penalty?
okay,
That's something we could put on your signboard above, if you kind of, breaking the rules, the railroad.
mhm, okay.
Because I'm reading through all the. Yeah, you have all these things up. Don't do this, don't do this, but what happens if they didn't?
We throw them in the pit of despair.
Well. Or you're asking on train tracks and run over them.
It could be fun.
And that would be-
Extremely trail.
But that's what they did with Silent Whiplash.
That is what they did, yes, that is true.
You started laughing. That's because the subject is completely is not here at all. That you put up signboard. They signboard. But I think the signboard should have all of the department should be a unique signboard. Recorded by others so that they can read it. And they violate, be expelled from.
Thank you, I appreciate that, yeah. No, that's.
Are you an attorney?
No.
I've been a contract, right, on base for 20 years. Writing contract.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know the.
TSN wants to send something like, uh-huh.
So what? I can read the rules. So what? Because we need to have several. They need to have the ability. Private property.
Absolutely, yeah, something like that. If nobody gets to run the herd.
Well, I think I have a good idea. I mean, is there a long, I don't feel like it's called a white wall.
Okay, good.
You just need somebody with a spike cord
Uh-huh.
on a chain walking around.
They say, it's an out city, okay.
No, I'm afraid of you. I mean, cleaning any works on. And they will, with their stuff ordinance, that's for 22. Yeah. No, that's something.
No, I think that's great, I appreciate that. Oh, thank you.
I do read.
You do, and I'm thinking that's bad. Not everything.
And that's all I want about that, in their. Fine,
By 90, that'd be good.
yeah. But I say, people can cancel that.
Oh, no, okay.
They say instead of denial, I'll say denial.
Oh, dear, okay.
Denial.
Thank you.
I've always been, 40 years in documents.
Oh, my goodness. Wow, that's fabulous. So,
I don't know if any issue.
My son did, who retired months ago. He did, but he had 6 children.
Oh, really? What was the name?
John Brown.
John Brown?
Been doing it for 10 years.
Okay, I left that far.
They have like at the station.
Okay.
Retired UPS also.
Oh, she's in LC. First one.
Yeah. 25 years.
See, in my heyday, I could actually go in and talk about this. All the time.
Yeah, all the gentleman that worked here, he was member, he was over the C-130 program here, he was, reserves. He let him deploy the body.
Oh.
Oh, he saw a five after.
That's not.
You know, I can tell you how, it was a good one. Yeah.
Oh, I can't fly in jet, but I can fly, so I can fly simulator. My last assignment. That was. EV is the most political. So. Realize he came out. 70. But because it's stars. Oh, it's too ugly for me to fly. And I know it's just. In fact, Army, I take it over there. Congress got involved and said, Army, and take care of rotary aircraft. Air Force, we. So they have Congress involved. No. I don't get a base. Left is 60. Uh-oh, we're in trouble now. Oh, we're saved.
I think so, but I'll ask.
I am burn barrel.
Okay.
You have burn barrel? Yeah. No, okay. Only thing you can have is recreation fires.
In a barrel.
In a barrel.
Make it a religious function and you can do whatever you want.
I'd say if you're up, just have some marshmallows out there. I'll leave a bag in the basket.
Put up the lawn chair and get out a package of hot dogs and you can do whatever you want.
50 gallons. They used like one last year, so those are.
Yeah, you do.
Why is it move?
They're sick. They're sick.
Likely story.
Yeah, of course.
No, I'm not. I looked. I was like, oh, good.
But.
Is it hot in here? Please tell me someone else is hot. Turn the AC on.
It's
Get out here. Not me twice.
it's right on the verge.
What am I agree on right now? Is it?
Whatever you.
Well, just make sure that.
Well, if you do that, it's.
It is. Oh my gosh. Here. Well, 73. Around the corner from my favorite sister. Well, their favorite home.
We good?
To get it, I forgot to bring you guys something. You have a new patch, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, see if they can bring some.
I got a Southern Provider winter jacket, Southern Provider summer jacket.
There you go.
I got a South Weaver Fire Department cap that I don't feel good wearing around anywhere. So if you want that back, it's pretty much unused.
Why don't you feel good?
You know,
I just, because I have a fire department hat, I'm not on the fire department, I'm not risking my life going into these buildings.
So just wear it, go to the firehouse and get a free gun.
okay. Let's begin, shall we? I'd like to welcome everyone to South Weber City Council. It is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, July the 14th, 2026. We'll begin with a pledge of allegiance by Council Member Dills, and then we'll have a prayer by Council Member Davis.
Please stand and repeat the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to be here this evening together as citizens of this great city to discuss the needs of the day. We are hopeful that thy spirit may be here with us, that we may treat each other with respect and dignity, and that we'll be able to come to appropriate conclusions that will help our city continue to be strong and move forward. We're grateful for thee, for these opportunities we have to come together to discuss important topics and to help this great city continue to be a great city. We are grateful also for all those who serve in our city, for our firemen, for the policemen, and for all their volunteers that support the function of the city. We pray that thy spirit may be with them, that they may be kept safe from harm and danger. And these blessings we pray for in the name of thy son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you, Councilman Dills and Davis. We appreciate that very much. First item on our agenda then will be public comments. If anyone has comments, we'd ask that you come up to the microphone, state your name and city in which you reside. We'll allow you 3 minutes to speak, and please be respectful. Anybody have comments? Seeing no comments, then we'll move along the agenda here. We had a presentation by Davis County Sheriff for their quarterly report, and we received a call just recently saying that they are not able to attend tonight, and we've moved that to August, so we'll have their report in August. So next item is our consent agenda consisting of June 23rd, 2026 minutes, June's checks, May's budget to actual. Is there any changes, corrections, or discussion we need to have on any of these items? If none, then we'll ask for a motion. Go ahead.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
Actually, like I don't ever. Quick question I was looking on the engineering costs and some of the checks that we're going through for, I think it was like $42,000. Most of that is what we pay to Jones and Associates, but of course, a part of that is also your pay-through account or just the pass-through account. One thing I was looking at though, when we ask for preliminary drawings from the developers, that is one in which Jones and Associates charges them a certain amount of money. And if they go forward, then we put that into the escrow, and I believe that would be some of the costs that would be recouped. But with the numbers, it doesn't really show it. It seems more like we ought to be putting that escrow earlier, or we should make sure that that goes. It's only a couple $100. I mean, it's not a huge thing. I think the whole total for this sheet was $600 and something, $630. Is that something that we could look into on when we, because I don't think that we should be charging them and not or I don't think Jones should be charging them and that not be a pass through, because that is definitely a cost for the developers.
So what is your question out of that?
And we move either the requirement for the escrow account in which they would have to be putting money into it to, or part of the pass-through account, maybe I should say.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to follow.
Yeah.
Because when we ask for preliminary drawings, Jones and Associates aren't the ones that do those drawings.
But they're charging us a fee.
That's just a review fee.
Right.
And
Shouldn't that be?
is passed through.
that is
Correct.
passed through to a developer, it just goes to them and they have to pay it.
And see, that's what I thought, but the account numbers, I can show you later so we don't bog the meeting down here, but that amount isn't coming back. We're not recouping that from them, at least through that same account number.
So are you looking at the, because we recoup it through the revenues in the revenue section where the expense is on the expenditure side. So you won't see
But what in
coming
it,
in and out of one account. It'll be coming in on the revenue account and going out as an expense on the expense.
as part of those pass-through
Yes,
account numbers though, right?
but there's a revenue pass-through account and then there's an expense account that tracks the expenses. And so we know if we're getting, it's not one account that you can look at and compare those two. You have to compare a revenue account and an expense account. To
Right.
verify that. But
Yeah,
yes, we
that's
do
what we were
collect
doing, and
those.
that's how I came up with the number. Let's.
If the
we'll take
question
this
is
off, I'm
about
sorry.
timing of if the engineer is doing any work that isn't getting reimbursed.
Exactly.
That's what we want to look at and
Right.
confirm that the timing of that and what actions take place before a
Exactly.
charge.
Like I said,
for the charge.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
We'll-
we can
we'll-
double check that and
I'll
make sure.
set, I'll set a
Yeah.
time up to talk to you. about
We
that.
can look at it. We typically don't get the revenue the same time that we get the expenses. We'll send out the invoice saying, okay, this is what you owe us for this work, and it can take anywhere between a day to 30, 60 days, depending on how quick the developer turns around and.
Could they have been, no, because it was cap and, anyways, we'll talk.
We
We'll
can-
talk.
we can
I,
talk about.
yeah, I just want to make sure that it's,
Mhm.
No, that's a fair question and we want to make sure that the reimbursement process is efficient and also covering everything. So I know internally we have had conversation about whether or not it makes sense to change the methodology so that developers aren't getting an individual bill over and over and over and don't really have an understanding of kind of the upfront cost and what that may or may not be. Right now, our consolidated fee schedule just says, any other costs associated with
Yeah.
that. And so we have talked internally about whether we should adjust that. Maybe this is a good time to just review the full process and make sure that we've got things covered the right way.
thanks, sorry to
Okay,
interrupt.
anything else? Anyone else? Look for a motion on this.
Move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item, resolution 26-27 South Weber Model Railroad Club Agreement. Any discussions on this? Angie, have you got anything you want to necessarily bring up or?
I feel like some key points to note, and if I miss any, Mayor and Dave, if you want to just help me make sure I remembered them all. Key points is that they would be running 2 Saturdays a month, we said April, right? April through October. They would like to also do 1 weekday a month, but we didn't put that in the agreement yet, but they would like to start doing that for the public. They will be responsible for all of the equipment on the ground, and the cities will be responsible for weed control and maintenance of the park as they're doing right now in the rest of the park. We also added a couple addendas I hope you saw on there in the packet where they have a safety checklist they have to complete every time they run a train, so we make sure everything's safe. We have, sorry, let me just make sure what else is in here.
The lease amount.
The lease amount, and a project request form. So if there's something that they want to do, they can submit that and then the committee can review it and then we can bring it to council. So it's actually like a procedure that needs to be followed. So we have like a paper trail and all that. Am I missing anything else that we've changed
pretty
from
good.
our last
Yeah.
one?
Anything else you can remember, Dave?
No, I think that's a good summary. I think that there has been a great conversation and process to this point after the last city council meeting. The committee and the club have worked well together and have tried to find kind of compromise and a thought process, a mindset of this is where we're at today. How do we move forward and make it the best it can be? We did not have too many conversations about, if at all, about the past. We did try to learn from the past and bring up lessons that we'd like to incorporate moving forward and ways we'd like to operate better in tandem. And the club has given some, and I think the city has given some in an effort to make this viable and productive moving forward. So much of the agreement looks similar. We did reorganize a little bit to make it more readable, a little bit cleaner with sections that clearly identify club responsibilities, city responsibilities, and what is included in both of those. And our hope is that moving forward, we'll be able to, make this great for the public and for the club members as well.
Question. Some question on the public is the $200 for lease fee was kind of low. Wasn't there some additions on the city's behalf in lieu of fee that the city's receiving, like additional run days and things of that nature, Angie?
Yes.
Something that was in lieu of fee.
Yes, so,
Sessions.
yes, originally their contract was one Saturday per month. And now we've increased that to 2 Saturdays per month.
Wasn't there something also in addition that the city can specify days just for the city to run, for the city residents?
So those would be for just open run days for citizens and visitors, right? But the train club actually offered to do it during the weekday, which is great, I think, to add that out. They just didn't put in we didn't put in the contract yet, just to make sure that they had enough staffing. We didn't want to put that in without them being able to talk to us, to the rest of the train club members. So those have been some concessions that they have made on there. And just a reminder, the original agreement, the city was doing all the weed control. And then there had been discussions between the city and the train club about, damaged rails. And so that's why damaged rails during mowing and such. So that's why it was sent back to the train club. We've had really good discussions about that. And so that's why we're bringing the weed control back, since we have the staff to go ahead and do that. And they can focus on providing the amenity. But what else can I answer for you?
Sorry, I just thought there was something I read in the contract that the city, there was an option for the city to request certain days that they run just for city events.
Oh,
And that-
absolutely,
and
yeah.
That was in concessions in lieu of additional monies for them to use the track, the $200 that they offered to do special run days for days to be picked by the city. And
So that could be country fair days. That
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
any other event that the city says we'd like you to do
so
that.
the argument that I'm hearing out there is $200 is cheap.
It
Well,
is,
It is
yeah.
cheap, but they're also doing other things in lieu of dollars. And that's why I wanted to bring out.
Sure, yeah.
Good point.
Thank you.
Joel?
Just a couple of questions. Was this originally a 60-day and then we turned it down to 30-day? Or is that something that we did?
As far as the potential termination of the agreement language, it was 60-day notice and 90 days. That was shrunk down to a 30-day notice and 60 days to then remove if we
Okay.
got to that point.
Okay, so it still has the removal of that.
Yeah.
I noticed in there, we talk about dispute resolution. Who and through how is that supposed to be handled? Or is that something we're going to approach on a one-by-one basis? Case by case, thank you.
Which section is that? Can you remind me?
No, I just put the bare notes on here. It talks about if a dispute, I believe it was in the safety, or is talking that the city manager has the ability to stop it. I should have written down the appendix that was in. I apologize.
Well, it's okay. I'm just trying to look through all of your.
Termination of agreements. Entire agreement, of course.
changes that might be needed?
Well, the changes, I have another one, because it actually says that the city manager can deny it. And then it later says, so if there's any change or anything added, any projects, the city manager can deny it. But then down on like the next line, it says that those changes come to the city council. So is it that it can stop with the city count or stop with the city manager and then go to it?
Well,
I should have.
if there's a safety concern, city staff would be the ones that would say, you know, we need to stop.
Yeah.
And then it would come to council for us to consider any type of action after that.
Okay, so basically, city manager can veto it for it not being good enough, it's not put together, it's not safe or anything like that. So that way we just don't get every change coming up to the city council, right?
Well, yeah, it would be similar to how it was earlier, where it was like, hey, there's a situation, we need to stop for a minute so we can evaluate it. That process wouldn't really change from what it currently is.
The audit section talks about providing acknowledgement of receipt for any of the plans that they have for fixing safety items. The proposed modification section talks about submitting to the city manager the request form for modification with explanation of why, any documentation and whatnot, that then is reviewed and the city council has to approve the modifications.
To reserve the action, including the steps that city club notice. Okay. Yeah,
I think Dave's right. He's addressing section 3.10 audits. Let's see. Talks about safety audits, and the second paragraph says that the city manager of the club shall provide manager written acknowledgement of receipt to resolve identified action items.
There's one other section that has a similar remedy provision. So the principle in both the audit section, and then it's in, let's see, it's the default section, which is section 11, notice of default, and then fine or abatement. And both of them essentially operate on the same principle that the city provides notice. They have a cure period. If they don't cure, then you can roll into either fine, abatement, or default of the agreement.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what I was talking about.
Is that satisfactory? Or do you feel okay with that procedure? Are there questions you have about that?
Yeah, I'll be quite honest. I'm so excited for this. I am very, very happy. I think you guys have done a fantastic job and the club has done a fantastic job. I'm so glad that we get to keep this and do this. And I think it's been a win-win for both. And yeah, I'm very excited about it. I was just trying to see on that. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look, but it won't matter at that time. I don't think.
If you have questions, just come back and
Yeah,
let me know anything that you have on there, because we have worked hard. We've had very harmonious discussions. It's been really great.
I
So
bet.
not contentious in any way. And I am excited to move forward. So
Yeah, this has been great. I'm very
Yeah.
grateful for you guys.
It's been really good.
So.
I will add from a city staff perspective, this is a major shift in the way that city staff has interacted with the club in the past. And the agreement before essentially had the city staff as kind of the enforcement arm and a regulatory agency, where this changes that mindset and has city staff a little bit more as a partnership, and the ability for staff to feel like we care a little bit more about the success of the train club. I don't want to say that in a negative way, but it frees us a little bit as staff. Also put some additional burden, I would say, with the weed maintenance and whatnot. There's a timing element, but the city council has directed us to put more resource into this, and to care about it differently. And this agreement is a result of that and shows that commitment from the staff side from a time and a caring standpoint. And I hope that we can see that result.
Agreed.
Thank you. And I would say this, we have come very far since our first agreement,
Yeah.
Blair.
You've done a very good job.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks to everybody. I have one other thing, though, I want to bring up to the rest of the council. If the council would like, we can ask our park staff just to monitor the amount of extra time and materials to maintain this, so we can kind of get the best estimate of what this is going to cost the city to maintain the weeds and such, but it shouldn't be significant. A significant investment of what we're doing right now. Over what we're doing now. Does that make sense? Wayne, you're looking like I'm not making sense.
That makes sense. It's just why we want to put emphasis on it.
Okay, I'm just
To me,
asking,
it's a
so,
park facility, just like a pickleball court or baseball court. It's a park facility for that particular park, and there's a cost associated with maintaining it. By highlighting that, it draws attention to it for what purpose?
okay, thank you. I agree. I just wanted to make sure we had discussed costs before, so I wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. Cool.
Okay.
Mayor, I make a motion, we approve resolution 2627, South Weaver Model Railroad Club Agreement.
I second that.
We have a motion second by Councilman Dills. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
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 Okay, unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you. Next, resolution 26-28, cooperative agreement with the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, State Lands. Any discussion on this resolution? Anyone? If not, we'll ask for a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 26-28, cooperative agreement with the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a second by Councilman Davis. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Howerson.
Aye.
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 You good, chief?
I'm good.
Okay.
Next item, resolution 26-29, Utah Wildfire Resource Memorandum of Understanding. Any discussion on this?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 26-29 Utah Wildfire Resource Memorandum of Understanding.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second by Councilwoman Petty. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. Next, resolution 26-30, amending the policy and procedure 3.040, employment of relatives, nepotism. Any discussion on this resolution?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay,
First one, what is the impetus for this?
There have been a couple of scenarios where department heads have approached me on hiring situations that have run directly into the nepotism policy. And so we've had internal discussions about the limitations that it provided to us and some of the restriction. It was very direct and very clear, bright line of where that was. And so we tried to follow that. We have found that there are some employees already hired within the city that weren't directly in line with that policy. And then running into these situations multiple times, it created a conversation about, is that really the policy that is helping us the best? Ultimately, there's 3 different departments that run into challenges with hiring related to family relationships. And so we've carved those out, specifically recognizing that we'd like to have, in certain circumstances only, the ability to have siblings or family members be hired in the city, not in any type of supervisory line or anything like that, but specifically within the fire department as part-time employees, within the recreation department, and within our crossing guards. recreation and recreation and crossing guards, because of the nature of those positions, we're not really hiring from outside the city. And so it creates a limited pool for us, which has created challenges in the past. So this would free that up and open that up for us. We have some examples, like I said, within the city where we already have family relations working in the same department, crossing guards and recreation, that are doing just fine and have not created any problems. And so we talked about this as a leadership council within staff, and department heads, and feel comfortable that putting it on paper this way still protects the city from any type of, favoritism actions, and things like that. That's really what we're trying to protect here. But freeing up and opening some of those options for us and making it so those challenges might not be as difficult to overcome.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, this new policy does not allow for a relative of the supervisory positions, to have one of their relatives hired beneath them.
True.
Okay. Does that mean then that we're really talking about familial relationships just at basically same level type of thing? So like for recreation, we would hire, so-and-so's brother to also work at the FAC or things like that.
Yes.
And that's the same way we're looking with the fire department, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This came up at Zion's quite often. If there's any relationship, when you first apply for the job, it needs to be defined there. It needs to actually be reported at that time of applying, not afterwards. Disclosed. And then after, say, somebody gets married here to each other, well, fine. You have a certain amount of time just to make sure that those things are reviewed and then approved, or if changes have to be made. I didn't see anything on that, and that's just one of the things I would like to.
It did highlight that in our application process, it meaning this conversation,
Right.
Did highlight in our application process that we hadn't always asked the question on our application form, do you have any relatives currently working for the city? And so there have been instances where sisters, for example, have both been hired, but they have different last names, because of marriage and things like that. And so, we have now added that to the application process, and we've done that, but that's a little bit tied to, but not directly related to the document, right? The language of the policy. So.
And do we have
Bill,
a
there is a disclosure requirement in the policy. It's paragraph 10. And it's very short. It's 2 sentences, but it says all applicants and employees shall disclose any relative relationship with a city officer or employee as part of the hiring process or upon the development of such relationship. Failure to disclose may be grounds for discipline.
Okay.
So there's 2 points. One, at point of hiring, if the relationship exists, they would have to. If the relationship is formed later, marriage or something like that, then they would have to report it at that time.
And do we define relative in
Yeah.
here? Is that the same one that we've been using for like conflict of interest? and
It
those
is
things?
similar,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. That's it. Those were my only questions.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Joe. Any other questions? Okay, we'll look for a motion.
Move to approve resolution 26-30, amending the policy and procedures 3.040, employment of relatives nepotism.
Seconded.
Give a motion, second by Councilman Halverson. Do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Halverson.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Next item, our fraud risk assessment. We need to have a motion to accept this. Every year we have a fraud risk assessment down here in the city, and I believe that this year it came back as a low risk. Is that correct?
we were 1 point away from very low.
Yes, right now we're at the low risk level.
Okay. Anyone have any comments or questions on this?
Nope. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the fraud risk assessment.
Okay, a motion second by Councilman Windsor. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Resolution 26-31, Utah Retirement System, URS contribution for firefighters. Any questions, concerns, or discussion on anything here?
So this is just where the state has now allowed an extra 1.25% to be able to be contributed by the city for full-time employees, right?
Right. The state will adjust, or not the state, URS will adjust this every once in a while, and they adjusted it again this year. And so the city has the opportunity to say, it's past the point where it's specific requirement for the entity to make the payment. And so the option is to choose, will the city take this employee coverage amount or leave it up to the employee? In the past, the council has said, as a city, we want to take that on and provide that benefit.
Absolutely.
Still more clarification, Joel. There's a difference in the Utah retirement system between a type 1 employee and a type 2 employee. 2012 became type 2 employees. They capped the percentage that companies, cities would have to contribute towards their retirement. That cap got reached several years ago, and now cities and public entities who participate in Utah retirement systems have a choice before them. This isn't for every type 2 employee. It's just the firefighters that the state made provisions that cities with firefighting crews could elect to pay the additional amount. This question is going to come to us every year because the the economy keeps growing. So we're going to continue to be faced with this question, and it becomes an issue between why not the regular employees. But type 2 employees also have the option, instead of participating strictly with the URS, they can do a hybrid or they can do all of a 401k. So there's some other moving pieces amongst this, but the core question is, do we want to continue to finance the retirement of our type 2 firefighter employees beyond what the cap was? And the cap was set many years ago so that agencies, cities could budget for these retirement systems and not have to continue to forecast what these ever-growing expenses are. So anyway, there's the two sides of it.
Oh, yeah. My darling wife has just retired using the Utah retirement system, and there's a lot of balance in there.
Okay, we'll look for motion on this.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution 2631 as written.
Second it.
Okay, a motion second by Councilman Dills. Do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Howerson.
Aye.
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 Okay, perfect. Unanimous. Next item is new business. I've asked Dave if he would take just a minute. We recently gone through the process of having a bond rating on our city. And we've got some information here that I'd like for him to tell us about, that we all should be proud of, and not only as city here in our city, but all of our residents should be proud as well. So, and it's worth noting and talking about. So Dave, would you take a few minutes and tell us about our bond rating?
Yes, as part of the process for going out to market for a bond, the city has to present to a rating agency. There's three main rating agencies: Standard & Poor, Moody's, and Fitch. We went before Moody's, and you explain the city, you explain the financial circumstances of the city and the practices, operating principles that we follow, economic development and things that are just the story of the city, as well as the bond and why we are doing the bond and what it goes toward, those types of things. And then the rating agency evaluates a number of metrics that the city has financially and otherwise, that some of which we provide, some of which they gather on their own research. And ultimately, they give two different ratings, one for the entity as a whole, and then one for the bond specifically. And they're not always the same. And the reason for that is the type of bond will determine whether or not it's a higher credit risk or lower credit risk, depending on the circumstances. So ultimately, we ended up with the highest bond rating we could hope for, which is a AA2 in Moody's terminology. They have a AAA, which is the highest, and then in the AA category, AA 1, 2, 3. A lot of times we think of that in the other rating agencies terminology of a AA plus, AA, and AA minus. So as an entity, we were given a AA1, the second highest rating possible, AAA being the highest. Second is AA1. And then the type of bond we have being a lease revenue bond rather than a general obligation bond automatically notches that one down. That's just standard for them. It has nothing to do with the agency. It really is, they set the agency bond rating and then drop it one for a lease revenue. Just the type of bond determines that. So a AA2 is our bond rating. The types of cities that get this type of rating usually average 22,000 in population and $57 million in revenue. So we are not in that same type of category size-wise and revenue-wise, which tells me that the other things that we're doing right and the other decisions that the council are making and operational decisions that are taking place are the things that are proving that we are a good credit risk and that we are doing things well. And it was really exciting to see after we were on the call with Moody's. We got off the call and immediately got a phone call from Mark Anderson with Zion's Public Finance, and he's like, "You guys, that was the best you could get. Like, you should be thrilled," and we are. So that's a really big deal and a pat on the back, I think, for all of the council and the decisions that have been made over many years to get us to this point. So I didn't pull up what our rating was before. I want to look at that. I've been a little preoccupied, but I'll take a look at that and compare. I'm interested to see how that relates to previous bonds. We did not do this process for the bond that we're refunding in 2023 because it was placed individually. We didn't go out to market to sell it. So you do this process when you go out to market. And the last time we did that was more than a decade ago. So I think it proves that we're in a good spot and things are going well. And that was really exciting news. So thanks, Mayor, for letting me bring that up.
Yeah, that's worth noting. So thank you so much. Any other new business anyone have? Let's do committee reports then. Councilman Lindsay, you want to start with that?
The committees haven't met, but a subset of the gravel committee, the state aggregate operations work group, which is I've been asked to be a member of, represent the city. They've scheduled a meeting tomorrow at 1:30. This is the ongoing discussions that ended last December, postponed, I should say, so that they can go through the legislative process. So we're continuing to have these discussions. This is about fugitive dust. And that's what this committee meets. It's statewide committee members. There was also, and I didn't realize this, but House Bill 378 in the 2026 legislature session was passed. It had some modification to fugitive dust mitigation. It was more administrative changes, but that was a bill that was ran. We didn't hear anything about it, but it didn't seem like it was I'll be attending that meeting tomorrow, and I can have some report in a couple of weeks, if anything.
Jeremy?
Nothing solid. Dave just presented us with a kind of first draft of the golf cart policy. So that's under review right now, and hopefully we'll be bringing that to the full council soon. That's it.
Joel?
I guess this would fall under it. I've received a request where I used to be with the Parks Committee. They're already looking for the day of service, and some people are wanting to request specific parks like they have in the past. I'll just forward them over to you and then you guys can decide
Okay.
how to work those.
Thank you.
That's it.
Angie,
Nothing further to report.
Blair,
Nothing to report.
Shaylee, have you got anything? We're good. Okay. Then next item on the agenda, it's our favorite one of the day. Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Nobody wants to.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.